Hey everyone, this is Faisal, your coach and a lifelong student of philosophy, spirituality, and sciences. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about clarity. What is clarity and how can you get more clarity in your life? Let's start with what clarity actually is. Clarity is when you have a clear picture of what you want in life. When you have a clear picture of who you are. When you have a clear picture of what your relationships look like. And we're going to go into each of those areas, but overall clarity is having a clear picture of what is it that you want in life. And there are three important areas that you have to have clarity in life. One, like I said, it's clarity about who you are, your identity. Two, it's your relationships. And three, it's the service and contribution that you provide in the world. And we're going to go deeper into each of these components, but let's discuss why clarity is important. The reason clarity is so important because if you don't have clarity in your life, you'll always be influenced by your external environment. And a lot of times we live in external environments that are not very positive. That is not clear in itself for you to give for it to give you a clear direction in life. And when you're not clear about your life personally, then what ends up happening is that you get influenced by your environment. You've heard of the term social conformity. You've probably heard of the term peer pressure. The reason people fall into those things when people follow others into doing things that they don't really want to do is because they don't have that clarity about who they are, about what they want to do in life, what brings them happiness, what brings them joy, what brings them meaning. When people fall into social conformity a lot of times because they have lost their own personal identity. So that's one of the reasons why you should be clear about your life, because once you get influenced by a negative environment, then you're basically going on that wheel of negative influence, one negative influence over another, and by the time you realize it's a few years down the road and you have no idea where you are. And you might be there right now, or you might have a bit of clarity and you want to get more clarity. So stay tuned, you're going to get more clarity from this video. And so what happens when you do get clarity? One of the big things with clarity is once you are crystal clear about what you want in life, once you're crystal clear about who you are as a person, once you're clear about what kind of relationships do you want to be in, or how do you want to be in those relationships in your life, then what ends up happening is that it becomes very easy to take action. And action is what creates our life. It creates the momentum in our life. It creates the magic in our life, because without action we can't really hope to gain anything. And one of the reasons why people don't go anywhere, because they don't take action in terms of their relationship. They don't seek to gain more meaningful relationships, or they don't seek to make their relationship better. They don't seek to gain more success in life. Or they don't seek to know themselves more. They don't take action to create better habits in life. And one of the big reasons why they don't take action in life is because they don't have the clarity to take action. When you're not clear, you're being pulled in different directions by contradictory thoughts, by contradictory ideas that are given to you by society, by your parents, by the school system that you might be part of, and they're all jumbled up, and at all times you're being pulled in different directions by different thoughts in your head, and you keep thinking that those are your thoughts, but in reality those were the thoughts and ideas and reality that was given to you by your environment. So then how do we become more clear? Well, first of all, you have to become aware of the fact that you need to have clarity in your life. And then I'm going to go into all three areas that I talked about. One, your identity, your personal identity. Two, your relationships. And three, service or contribution. And we'll talk about why is it so important to have clarity in each aspect of your life, in each of those aspects, and how you can gain more clarity. So in terms of your identity, it's really important to know who you are, or at the least to know what kind of qualities that you want for yourself. There is an idea in psychology, it's called the ideal self. And actual self. So you always have an actual self and an ideal self. Your actual self is who you are in this moment. That could be with your flaws, your positive attributes, the things you're happy about yourself and the things you're not happy about. And the ideal self is those qualities that you're striving to go towards. And everybody at some level thinks about that. Everybody wants to be better at their relationships. They want to be better husbands. They want to be a better human being. People want to be more compassionate. So then you have to consciously bring this into your life when it comes to your identity. What are some of the qualities? Think of 1 to 3 qualities that you're going to work towards, that you're going to move towards as your ideal self. And for me, one of my qualities that's very important to me is being authentic. Authenticity to me means to be the best version of myself, to be myself, but to strive to work towards the best version of myself. And that word to me is very important in my life, because I've realized that the more you are yourself in whatever situation, whatever environment that you're in, the more content and happy and at peace you will be with yourself. And you have to decide what are some of the qualities that will make you happy in life, that you want to gain, that you want to have. And this is something that people don't think about. They think that whatever they are, that's who they are. But you can strive to be better than who you are. Doesn't mean that you completely change the core of who you are, but you can strive to create better habits in your life. You can be more compassionate towards other people. You can be more kind towards other people. You can be more caring towards yourself. And those qualities will raise your level of awareness. They will raise your level of influence in your environment. And whatever those positive qualities that you want to apply to yourself, become conscious of yourself, conscious of them, and remind yourself consistently. Because the more you remind yourself, the more they become a part of your habit system, the more they become part of your subconscious mind. And when we think about the subconscious mind, it works with habits. That means if you do something over and over and over, it becomes part of your nature. So become aware of your identity, or the qualities that you want within your identity, and strive to work towards that. And keep reminding of yourself of that. When you become clear, when you think about what kind of qualities that you want in your life, you'll gain more clarity in terms of who you are and who you want to be. And you will be less influenced by your environment, the negative aspects of your environment, your relationships, and the rest of them. And in terms of your relationships, why is it so important to be clear in your relationships? Because they create a bulk of your life. Most human beings are in one relationship or another, whether that be your relationship with your siblings, with your spouse, with your parents, with your family, whatever, with your friends, whatever it is, all those relationships requires you to be very conscious of them. When you become conscious, you will pick the relationships that you want to be in. And with the relationships that you're born into, you can make it better on a consistent basis. You can become conscious of how you can create better, make those relationships better in your life. And the more clarity you have about how you want to be in your relationships. For example, for me, I want to be more loving, more inspiring, and more engaged in my relationships. I want to be more present with the people around me. So that makes me want to interact with people in that specific way. I'm very conscious of how to be around people. And it takes a great amount of practice, just like with your identity. You have to constantly remind yourself of how you want to be in your relationships. And that's how you raise the quality of your relationships. Because you're creating a picture of how you want to be in your relationships. And this is something that many successful people in their lives do. Many people who are fulfilled in their lives do. Why? Because they don't leave it to chance for their relationships to become better or worse. They actually create the intentions for their relationship to become better. And the third one that I talked about, that was the service or contribution in your life. And this is something a lot of people are stuck in. Service or contribution is basically work. What kind of work do you do? Is your work meaningful to you? And even if you are not in a meaningful work right now, it doesn't mean that you should put yourself down. It just means that you need to start thinking about what makes you happy in life. What is it that you would want to do that will make you happy? And in terms of being human beings, we all have a drive to serve our community. We all have a drive to contribute somehow in our environment. Why? Because we are born into families, into communities. We have a biological disposition to serve that makes us happy. But the problem is, the challenge with most people is that they don't serve with their passion. They don't serve with what they love to do. And this is something that I had to realize after a long time. After a lot of thinking and a lot of experiences in my life, I realized that to truly be happy in my life and to truly serve my environment, my family, my community, the rest of the world, I would have to love whatever I'm doing. The fact that I'm able to do these videos every week, the fact that I'm able to put so much material out, the fact that I'm able to coach people one-on-one or do group coaching and make this a part of my life is not random. It's only because I've thought about this a lot, and I created this to be a part of my life. Just the other day, I was actually I went with my wife and daughter. We went to this cafe near us, Williams, and I was sitting there and I just realized that 2 years ago I used to go there every day, and I used to think about what I want in life. That was a time when I was laid off from work, and I didn't know where I wanted to go. And I really, every day I would sit down and write something about what I want to do, what makes me happy. And I would ask myself questions such as, what makes me happy in life? What would I have to achieve to be happy? How would I have to behave to be happy? What kind of personality do I have to be happy? All those things I would ask myself. I would read books, I would watch lectures, I would listen to lectures. And every day for 3 to 6 months I would do that. And when I was sitting there, it was a strange feeling because I remembered how unclear I was about my life, but I did the work. And this is one of the big things that people don't understand, is that if you don't do the work, you won't be clear about your life. So I talked to you about contribution, about service, about your relationships, about your identity. To be clear about those aspects of your life and what you can do to be clear. You can. One of the main things that you have to do is that every morning sit down and ask yourself, who am I as a person? What qualities do I have to be happy with myself? What kind of relationships do I want to be in? How can I make my relationships better? What do I love to do in terms of your service? What do I love to do? And how can I serve others with what I love to do? And that's why service, it's very crucial that you do something with passion, with something that you really love. Otherwise, over time, you lose motivation. But if you truly love something, then you're going to want to do it regardless of whether you get paid for it in the beginning or not. And even if it's challenging in the beginning, you're going to keep moving towards it. And guess what? Over time, when you work towards it more and more, you're going to gain more success in that field, whether that be financial or that be fame or whatever else you're working towards. And if you do this consistently every day and sit down with yourself, write down and answer those questions, what ends up happening is that your mind starts to search for answers. And before you know it, you're going to become very clear about who you are and what you want out of life, what kind of relationships you want to be in, what do you want to do in life. And the second idea that I wanted to talk about is that most people work with whatever they know, which is fine. You have to start with whatever you know and whatever you have experience with. But you need to become open to knowledge and different perspective and different experiences in life. Why? Because unless you gain more experience, unless you gain more knowledge, unless you gain more ideas from other people, you cannot put all the pieces of the puzzle together yourself. You have a lot of answers within you, but you need a perspective shift. You need to get out of your comfort zone to understand what is it that you want sometimes. And the more you go towards gaining more knowledge, the more you become open to other people's perspective, the more you become open to new experiences and new opportunities, the more clear you become in life. It sounds kind of contradictory that they will confuse you more, but trust me, the more you go towards these things, the more clarity you gain in life, because your perspective in life becomes bigger and bigger the more you go towards these things. And it's a matter of doing the work. And one last thing I wanted to share is that most of us actually know that we have to do the work to gain something. But we know that kind of subconsciously, we don't know it consciously. So for example, for you to get a degree from university, you had to go every day to class and to study for tests or to be in the lectures or to learn things. For you to even go to school, up until high school, you had to go to school every day and graduate, blah, blah, blah. You had to do all that work to achieve the graduation, to gain those skills, to gain that knowledge. But we don't apply the same principle into other aspects of our life. For you to gain clarity, you have to do the work every day to gain clarity. For you to become better in your relationships, you have to do the work to become better in your relationships. You have to create better habits. You have to know yourself more. You have to gain more knowledge about how you can be better in your relationships. For you to create a powerful life for yourself, you have to create a vision. You have to think about what you want in life, what makes you happy in life. And this is very simple, but most people don't consciously think about this. And most people don't do the work to create that powerful life for themselves. And that's what it boils down to. The people who are fulfilled and successful in life, they take the time to think about their life. And when you actually do this on a consistent basis, one great teacher of personal development, Earl Nightingale, said this: the reason people don't make more money because they don't make it their business to make more money. They don't sit there and constructively think about how much money they want to make in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years. He was just talking about money, but you can take the same idea towards any aspect of your life. The reason your life doesn't get better in any area because you haven't taken the time to think about making it better. You haven't found the tools, you haven't gone towards ideas, you haven't gone towards experiences and knowledge to make it better. That's why it's not better. You haven't thought about it, you haven't written down what you want out of life. And it's simple, yet it's something that most people don't do. So go ahead and apply these things in your life, and I can guarantee you that the more you work on these things, the more clarity you gain in your life. To summarize, make sure you look at clarity in terms of your identity, but in terms of who you are, in terms of your relationships, what kind of relationships you want to be in, how you want to be in those relationships, and in terms of your contribution, work, and service. And also, the second idea, make sure you become more open to new knowledge, new perspective. Make sure you seek new knowledge and perspective and experiences. And the more you do this, the more you're going to gain a powerful perspective in life, and you're going to become more clear and clear in your life. And for you to take action tomorrow or even right now, take out a pen and paper, write down all these things for yourself, and think about what you want out of life. And I hope this serves you just as much as it served me in my life, and I hope you apply this in your life. Oh, and don't forget to comment below and tell me what you think about the video, what you think about clarity and your ideas about it. And also make sure you go on my website. There should be somewhere a link on the video or in the info area. Go to my website and check out some of the free stuff that I have for you there. Thank you very much once again for watching the video. You have a great week. Bye.